Hi, I'm Trish.
And I'm Saul.
This is our tiny house, and we've been living in it for a little over a year now. So our kitchen involves one of the most unique aspects of our tiny house, I think. On the bottom floor, to kind of save up space from the wheel wells being up, we added these 6-foot, it goes all the way down, our 6-foot long drawers where we use most of our clothes. So there's a his and hers. Most of our cabinets in our kitchen are repurposed cabinets. So these are all cabinets that were bought off of Craigslist. A family was selling in because they were renovating their house. So we just put a fresh paint of coat over it, put new hardware, and all of them look just brand new now. And then this is another one of our custom cabinets, so our spice rack and our pots and pans drawers under the fridge are part of the custom cabinetry that we had someone make for us. We chose with a double sink because we use one for the actual washing of our dishes, and then once we're done we dry them in our drying rack, so having two is a space saver for us, especially since there's just two of us. We have very minimal dishware. This sink is from IKEA. It's a front apron sink and we got it on sale. So we have a 24-inch fridge. It is an apartment size fridge, and it keeps all the food that we have between the two of us. Since there's just two of us, we have very minimal food that we have to store. This is where we store our induction cooktop. It's really convenient because we just store it here and we get the extra counter space whenever we don't use it. These countertops were from IKEA. We just found this piece that looks like concrete, but they're actually just laminate, and we cut them custom for a galley kitchen. So there's on this one big side, and then we cut it to fit our farm sink on the other side. And my husband added this custom metal shelf that we had done for extra shelving. We have the dishes that we usually use and dry goods that we use for cooking. So underneath right here is also where we have our trash cans. Our cabinets have our trash can here, and on this side are a few other things that we use in the kitchen. We found these wine crates on Craigslist. They were $10 a piece, and we wanted an open shelving concept, but we didn't want to buy any more shelving. But also because the studs on the inside are a little bit tricky, the wine crates makes it easy for us to connect it. So you can see they're just on a random spot on this side, which is where our stud was, which wouldn't make sense if we had open shelving. We are both rehab therapists. I'm a speech language pathologist.
And I'm an occupational therapist.
We both have large amounts of student loans, which got us into looking into tiny living and minimal living. We wanted to get rid of our debt as soon as possible, and one of the ways that we thought was escaping that mortgage and just living tiny. Before the pandemic hit, we wanted to be travel therapists, so that would be 13-week contracts going from hospital to hospital, and we didn't want to keep looking for housing, so we decided to go tiny and build something portable and mobile, and we decided with a tiny house on wheels.
This is our living area. It consists of mainly our couch, our storage rack, and of course our television. So our couch serves multi-purposes. It actually holds extra bedding and stuff we don't use on a daily basis, and as well turns into a bed if we ever have guests over.
So on the top side of this loft is our storage loft. We keep our clothes up there, and then behind our clothes are kind of the things that we don't want to see on a day-to-day basis, so it's hidden behind our clothes. We get up there with this ladder that we actually found in an alley. So it's just easy hookup. And sadly, this part is my husband's clothes, and then the rest are all mine. We use this same ladder to hook up and get into our bedroom loft. This is a queen size bed, and we like having the skylight right above our heads because we actually get to stargaze a little bit at night, and where we're at, it's pretty high up and we see the sky pretty clearly at night. So here we just have a picture ledge that we had for a little bit of display to make it a little bit cozier, and then we have two sconces that we actually my husband made from mason jars. So they're outside sconces, but now they're our bedroom lights.
So this is our bathroom door. It's a barn door which slides down, closes, and then whenever you're ready to go back out, opens and stores behind the refrigerator. So we didn't want to do full-on plumbing, so we actually got one of these RV toilets. It's a chemical toilet, which needs to be dumped about every 2 weeks, and it's been working great for us so far. Here on this side, we got 2 hooks to hang our towels to dry once we get out of the shower. On this side, we have custom-made shelving, which we made out of black pipe and wood, and it holds all our toiletries. So this right here is my section, and this is my wife's. So here we have our vanity, we have a round mirror and also a matching sink, as well as more storage underneath. On this side is our shower. It's a 4-foot cast iron tub with a rainfall shower head. And when it's time to shower, we just close it up, keeps all the water in, and we open it up to get out. So since our bathroom is kind of small, we wanted more light to be coming in, so we put in a frosted glass window right where the shower is. There are many options as schoolies, van builds, and tiny houses. Ultimately, we went with the tiny house because we like the fact that when the truck is unchained, it actually looks like a house. So this house is a complete DIY from bottom up. We actually bought a cargo trailer and repurposed it to hold this house. We had to add a lot of support and more metal to be able to hold the weight of the house, as well as be able to be still street worthy and be able to move when we needed to.
Because we were really on a tight budget, 80% of this build was secondhand. So our windows were all windows that we've sourced from Habitat for Humanity. So we went to almost every single store in Southern California to look for the perfect size windows. Our cabinets, like I said earlier, is also secondhand. The flooring was actually completely free. We found it on a Craigslist ad that a couple was just giving away. The outside materials were also repurposed, like the plywood, the 2x4s, were as much repurposed as possible.
Mm-hmm. And we also got lucky to know somebody that had large amounts of lumber, so they were able to gift us a lot of 2x4s, a lot of plywood, and as well as most of the trim on the outside. So this project from start to finish, we've calculated that it's cost us about $25,000 to complete. So we were able to come in around that price point for doing all the labor ourselves, as well as getting used and repurposed materials. So our house is sitting on a 22-foot cargo trailer, which we bought secondhand and adapted it to fit the house. We made it custom to be a drop axle, so the house sinks lower to the floor so we could raise the roof higher. From the outside, the shortest point of the roof is 13 feet tall and the highest is 13.5. That allows us on the inside, the highest point to be 11.5 and the lowest 11 feet. So we wanted accent panels on the outside of our house, so we actually stained and sealed cedar and put it on top of the windows, and also for a decorative touch around the door. Everywhere else we used board paneling around the whole house, and all the trim accessories are Douglas fir. So on the outside here you can see our windows. That's our loft up here, our bathroom, and our kitchen. We have 9 windows in total in the house, all of them which cost together $300. So outside our door, I wired this plug out here so when we're outside we can enjoy things like music or lights. Our door is solid cedar, and we actually found this for free on Craigslist. We love it because it's heavy duty, and plus when the curtain is up, it gives a lot of light on the inside. So up here we have our heavy duty hitch, which is a 2 5/16 ball, and that way any medium to heavy duty truck can tow it. So here's our water inlet to the whole house. It's just a garden hose that's hooked up to a spigot, and this provides water to both our sinks as well as our shower. So here's our electrical plug. It's a 50 amp plug-in, which plugs in for either 50 amps or 30 amps, and the whole house will still work.
Well, a lot of people ask us where we built the tiny house. So it's actually really tricky to find a large enough spot that has tool sheds, but we were lucky enough to know people that had a warehouse, a tool shed, and big enough property to be able to build our house there. So we built it in that spot for a year. And then we had to move a little over a year into a different spot, like the next door property let us move and build our house there too.
So some advice that we would have for someone thinking about living tiny, we would totally encourage them to do it because you let go of a lot of things that you really don't need, and it gives you a lot more time to do things that you really enjoy.
And I think especially if you're doing it by yourself, it gets pretty challenging, and there were a few moments there where we didn't think we were going to be able to finish this. There was just challenge after challenge. But I think if you stick to your why and why you're living tiny and why you're committing yourself to living tiny, it'll help you long term. I think stick to your why and remember why you're living tiny. Thanks for listening, and thanks for joining us on our little tour of our tiny house. You can follow us on Instagram at Tryshka, that's TRYSHKA, and we post as much as possible about our day-to-day living in a tiny house.